Now I will repeat. Here, normally in acidic pH it will exist as cation. In basic medium where H plus ion concentration is less, in that medium this amino acid will donate protons to the medium and COOH group will convert into COO minus, which is anionic form. So an amino acid in acidic medium will be acting like a cation. In basic medium it is acting like an anion. Okay, but at isoelectric pH means a pH which is suitable for formation of both anion and cationic form. Anionic and cationic forms are possible in a single molecule, which is called as isoelectric pH. This isoelectric pH is different for different amino acids. At this isoelectric pH, every amino acid carries both a positive and negative charge. That means it is existing a cationic and an anionic form. Both cationic and anionic forms are present in single ion. This is ion. This ion has both cation and anion. Both charges are present. That is called zwitterion. Vimal, clear only board. Board is clear. Yeah, it is clear for me. You can rejoin if you are facing the same problem. Okay, this is zwitterion is formed. According to these charges, anion cation is there na. Suppose an acidic amino acid is there. What is the net charge of acidic amino acid? Anyone? Acidic amino acids we saw aspartic acid, glutamic acid. Yeah, amino acids have both positive cation, both acidic and basic group, so it is able to form this zwitterion. Only amino acids are forming zwitterion means no, amino acids also form zwitterion. There may be other molecules which are forming zwitterion, but majorly amino acids are possible to form zwitterion. Okay. Then what is the question I asked you? Yeah, Sri Chakran. Wrong answer. Acidic amino acids carry which charge? Positive charge. How? Sumedha, wrong answer. How? Just think once. Negative. Yeah, Lohitni, very good. Acidic amino acids carry negative charge. See that point. Acidic amino acid. Take an example, acidic amino acid and its charge. What is acidic amino acid? COOH, CH2, CHNH2, COOH. When this zwitterionic form is there, NH2 will convert into NH3 plus. This COOH will be 1 COO minus, this COOH will be 1 COO minus. Now 2 minus 1 plus. So acidic amino acids carry net negative charge. Acidic amino acids carry net negative charge. Yes. Negative charge because of COO minus R. Yeah, very good. Then, what about the basic amino acids? This basic amino acids. Suppose NH2, CH2 4 times, NH2 COOH. This is a basic amino acid. Lysine. Yeah, it carries a positive charge because this COOH group will be converted into COO minus, NH2 will be NH3 plus, this also NH3 plus. Now 2 plus 1 minus. So they carry net positive charge. Acidic amino acids carries net negative charge and basic amino acids carry net positive charge. Okay, even deuterium also. Deuterium means even that deuterium is formed by acidic amino acid means that carries net negative charge. Deuterium is formed by basic amino acid means that carries net positive charge. And neutral amino acids, will be Sri Chakra not blurring. Neutral amino acids will be carrying zero charge, no charge. How? Wow, what a good answer. No charge. No, don't say no charge. Neutral amino acids, suppose CH3, CH, NH2, COOH means they will be converted into COO minus NH3 plus. Charge is there, na? Yeah, they carry equal charge or neutral charge. Neutral charge or equal charge is carried by the neutral amino acid. They have equal charge or neutral charge. Don't say there is no charge. No charge means there is no positive, no negative. But neutral amino acids also carry charge. But charge is neutral or equal charge. Total net charge will be equal to 0. Yeah, zero charge we can say. Zero means no charge. Zero means no charge. Total net charge will be 0. 0 means no charge. That is your point. But if you say no charge means CH3, CH, NH2, COOH. This is also no charge. This also equal 1 plus 1 minus. That will be 0. 0 means no charges are like that you can say. This is 0 charge, no charge. This is also 0 charge, no charge. Then what is the difference between the two? How can you differentiate between that? Differentiate that neutral charge will be there means there is net neutral charge. Neutral charge means the positive charges and negative charges will be equal or equal charge. Yeah. Net charge is 0. Net charge is 0. Zero charge means okay, that is acceptable. But no charge means this is no charge. This is also no charge means that is not acceptable. We cannot differentiate that. Okay? Complete? Yeah, done. Next, these amino acids are there now. Amino acids combine together and form peptides. Usually, as in carbohydrates, monosaccharides combine together and form polysaccharides. Monosaccharides are combining together and form polysaccharide, right? And that fatty acids and alcohols are combining forming lipids. Here also, amino acids combine together and form peptides. See, amino acids linked together. That number of amino acids may be more or less. Amino acids are joined together and form a peptide. Peptide is formed upon binding of amino acids to each other, and when amino acids are joined together, there is a formation of bond. The bond formed is a peptide bond. Peptide bond, which is also called amide bond. Peptide bond or amide bond. Okay, see, take an example. Suppose here amino acid, usually what is general formula we wrote? RCHNH2COOH is amino acid, right? For convenience, I am shifting the groups. Same structure only, I am not changing, but just simply changing the position of groups only. CHR, COOH. Is it general formula of amino acid? Tell me. R CHNH2COOH. COOH group is attached to CH. That CH, one side it is attached with R, other side it is attached with NH. This is one amino acid. This another amino acid will come and interact here. To differentiate between this R1, R2 we can write. R1, R2 means two different amino acids. Or same amino acids, whatever it is, two different amino acids or same amino acids. Amino acids are coming closer together. When amino acids are interacting each other, amino group and carboxylic group of two amino acids, especially COOH group of first amino acid and amino group of next amino acid. COOH group of first amino acid and amino group of next amino acid, they combine together and dehydration takes place. Dehydration means water molecule is removed. So when water molecule is removed, remaining will be CONH. This CONH bond is formed between two amino acids. CONH bond is formed. That CONH bond, what is formed, is called peptide bond. Peptide bond or amide bond. And this totally formed is there na? Two amino acids are joined together and there is formation of a long structure that is called peptide, not peptide bond. This is peptide bond and total structure is called a peptide. When amino acids are joined together, that bond is formed between COOH group of first amino acid and amino group of next amino acid. So they combine together. So the bond formed between that amino acids is called as a peptide bond, which is also called as amide bond. Okay. And the resulting substance with the total amino acid, here two amino acids are there. Here two amino acids are there. It may have 3 or 10 or hundreds of amino acids may be there. The total structure what is formed here is called as a peptide. Okay. That each peptide is there, na? Each peptide has N terminal and C terminal. Each peptide has N terminal end and C terminal end. What is N terminal end? N terminal end means amino group of first amino acid. The amino group which is present in first amino acid is called N terminal end. This is N terminal. This NH2 group is there, na? The NH2 group of first amino acid is N terminal end. And COOH group of last amino acid. Last amino acid. What is last amino acid here? Here the last amino acid is second amino acid. If it has 10 amino acids, then COOH group of 10th amino acid will be last amino acid. If 500 amino acids are there in chain means the COOH group of last amino acid will be C terminal end. So there are two ends. Each and every peptide has two ends, N terminal end and C terminal end. And always new amino acids will be added to COOH group only, or COOH, C terminal or C terminal end is there na, to that C terminal end only there is addition of new amino acid. Here this is a dipeptide, right? Two amino acids are joined and there was a formation of a dipeptide. To this dipeptide, if one more amino acid is attached, then it is tripeptide. Tripeptide means one more amino acid will come and bind na. That binding of amino acids always takes place at COOH group only. Here there is no addition of new amino acid. New amino acid will not be added to N terminal. New amino acid will be added to COOH group only. At any time, always there is addition of new amino acid to the COOH group of existing peptide with the help of peptide bond. A new peptide bond will be formed. Okay? See, one more peptide, one more amino acids is attached means C double bond O, NH, CH. This is third amino acid, we can mention R3. This is peptide bond now. And this is C terminal end. This is N terminal end, this is C terminal end. Suppose one more amino acid is attached means one more peptide bond will form here. CO, NH, R4, COOH. This is, CONH, CHR, CHR, COOH. This is one more peptide bond. Now this is C terminal end. Like that there is binding of many amino acids to each other and there is formation of peptide. How peptides are formed? Peptides are formed upon joining of many amino acids to each other. If more amino acids are joined, by peptide bonds, suppose 20 amino acids or 30 amino acids are joined together, then it is called polypeptide. This polypeptide only we can call it as a protein. If more number of amino acids are joined together, then there is formation of a polypeptide. That polypeptide only we are calling as a protein. Copy that point. Complete? Yeah, done. Wait, sir. Okay, you can copy, wait. No, sir, wait, sir. Yeah. Take a minute and complete that. Here, more amino acids. More amino acids linked by peptide bond. Vimal, complete? Yes, sir. Okay. Then we see protein. Yeah, wait. Right. Protein. The protein term is there, na, that is given by Berzelius. Term is given by a scientist, Berzelius. Berzelius. It is taken from a word called from Greek, which is Protein. Proteos. Proteos. It means which has primary importance means which are more important. Which are more important. And these proteins are naturally occurring polypeptides. These are naturally occurring polypeptides. Polypeptide means more number of amino acids are there. So that more number of amino acids are there which are joined by peptide bonds. More number of amino acids are joined by peptide bonds. Okay, that are called as protein. And majority proteins have more than 50 amino acids. Suppose less than 50 amino acids means, suppose up to 10 it is a decapeptide. So even more than 10 amino acid is there means that is also polypeptide only, protein only. More than 10 amino acids are there means that is a polypeptide. Even 20 amino acids are there, more than 20 amino acids are there means that we can consider as a protein. But majority of proteins have more than 50 amino acids. And generally 100 to 300 units of amino acids are there means that acts as a better protein. A good protein means 100 to 300 amino acids are there means then that protein has a very structurally it is complexity and function of enzyme, function of protein. Enzymes are proteins only actually. That structure and complexity of proteins is majorly depending on number of amino acids. 100 to 300 amino acids may there generally. So if we see naturally occurring proteins, there are many naturally occurring proteins like the silk. Silk is there, which is a protein. Hair is also a protein. And in plasma, connective tissue is there na. In plasma there is presence of plasma proteins. Plasma proteins are there. Muscular proteins, our muscle has many proteins. These are naturally occurring, and even some enzymes are there. Even enzymes are also there. So these are naturally occurring proteins. Okay. Now see different types of proteins. First classification of protein. First one, based on size and shape. Based on size and shape. Based on the size and shape, total proteins are divided into two types. There are two types of proteins based on the shape and size. One is globular proteins. Globular proteins. Globular proteins means which have less length, more width. Less length and more width. Length is less, width is more means, length is less, width is more means, that is forming a globular shape. Example for this globular protein, collagen protein in bones. In our bones there is a protein called as collagen, that is an example to globular protein. Second one is fibrous protein. Fibrous protein which has more length, less width. Width is less and length is more. That means elongated structures, fibrous like structures will come, like keratin. Keratin which is present in hair. In hair there is presence of a protein called as keratin. That keratin is a fibrous protein. If length is more and width is less, then the protein will be fibrous form. Fibrous means a long structure, thread-like structure. That is called fibrous protein. Example is keratin. And globular protein is one which has less length and more width. Okay. See here, normally two types are there, na? That two types. Majorly based on length to width ratio. Length to width ratio is there. What is length to width ratio? Length divided by width is there, na? If this length width ratio is, if it is more than 10, length width ratio is more than 10 means it is fibrous. If length width ratio is less than 10, then we can call it as globular protein. A globular protein has more width. Width is more. Width is increasing means ratio will decrease. Length is increasing means ratio will increase. So, more than 10 ratio is there between length and width means then that protein we can call it as a fibrous protein. If length width ratio is less than 10, then that protein is called as globular protein. Okay. And here the proteins are there, na? This protein, most abundant proteins we can see. Most abundant protein. That means which protein is present in most concentration or most present in high amount in universe. Most abundant protein. In plant kingdom, in all plants, most abundant protein is rubisco. Rubisco is an enzyme which is mediating photosynthesis. Photosynthesis enzyme named rubisco is the most abundant protein in plant kingdom, and in animals. In animal kingdom, most abundant protein is collagen. In animal kingdom, most abundant protein is collagen. In plant kingdom, most abundant protein is rubisco in plants. See here, rubisco is present in chloroplast. In chloroplast, chlorophyll, chloroplast is there. In chloroplast we discussed. Each and every cell of plants have chloroplast, but chlorophyll is present more in leaves. Leaves have more chlorophyll. So that chlorophyll is carrying photosynthesis, right? Each and every cell of plants have rubisco. So more plants are there in the universe, right? All plants which are green plants which are carrying photosynthesis, all they have rubisco enzyme. Rubisco enzyme, it is actually enzyme that is belonging to a protein. So it is most abundant protein in plants. Then in animals, most abundant protein is collagen. Bones are made up of a protein called as collagen. All animals have bones, right? In all animals there are bones. That bones are made up of collagen. So collagen is present in major amounts in all animals. Okay, then remaining muscular proteins may also there. That muscular proteins may be present in the next level. Most abundant protein of animals is collagen. Most abundant protein in plants is rubisco. Okay. If it is exactly 10 means, length width ratio, it is exactly 10 means, that is fibrous. Rubisco, sir, please teach, don't write because the time is going to end. The topic is also end. Our topic is also end. Next type of proteins classification is there. So this is the first classification based on size and shape. Next classification will be based on functions of protein and the nutritional importance of proteins. That we will see next class. And coming to WPT portions, wait 1 second. I will end the meeting, then I will stop the recording, then I will announce WPT portions. Okay, botany class is over.